Well, my name's Candace Summers. I'm the Director of Education at the McLean County Museum of History, and this is our newest changing exhibit. It's called Come and Get It, The Way We Ate, 1830 to 2008. And it's an exhibit all about the changing eating and drinking habits of the people of not just McLean County, but Central Illinois, and can reflect the entire country as well. And this exhibit, besides being about food and drink, it's about how different things in our history have changed the way we eat over time. Technology, events like wars or the advent of the railroad. And so you can really see how different we used to eat in the 1830s compared to how we eat. Well, this right here is the beginning, where it's basically, hunting, gathering food, farming, the real beginnings of the way people ate when the county was first formed in the 1820s and 1830s. And so it goes through, a typical types of animals we ate, butchering, hunting. We move down the line and you can actually see some of the equipment we used to use for hunting, from steel traps to long rifles, the wild animals that we hunted, all the game, deer, geese, pheasants, quails. And then moving down the line, you can see the things that people would gather, all the way from early Native American maple sugaring, as even the Native Americans did sugaring, maple syruping here, settlement, to the things that they gathered from all the nuts, all the berries, things like that. Early hog droving here in McLean County, early farming, how hard it was to break through that prairie soil before the steel plow. What things used to cost here in McLean County from early stores. You can see that, let's see what this is, commodity prices. So you could buy pickled pork for, I guess, $4. Cornmeal by the bushel, 25 or 30. Dried apples for $2.50. And all throughout the exhibit are model kitchens, which I think is the best this exhibit has. And we have 4 kitchens from 4 different eras of history. We have, of course, the Pioneer Kitchen, which would have been the earliest kitchen. This is circa about 1830. And so in it, we have, the typical foods you would have found, the typical equipment that a housewife might have used, everywhere from the butter churn in the corner, hanging the meats up after they smoked them, the cooking hearth, which would have been the center of any pioneer home, because not only was the center of the cooking, but it was the center of warmth as well, and family social activity. And we tried to make it as real as possible with all the different foods and the dishes, all the tools you would have found in a typical kitchen during that time period. And we even have typical types of meals, recipes that the early settlers would have used and made here in McLean County. So the Upland Southerners, Anabaptists, Swedish, German, Irish, Yankee, a lot of different advertising. We're very lucky to have a very good archives, not just in our own building, but the pantograph microfilm. So a lot of these we copied from early editions of those early newspapers in our community. So you could see what a diverse commodities we had here in town, but also how it changed over time, how the different things people ate changed over time. And then we move on to when more immigrants are coming in, like the German and the Irish, and we see, how that influenced our changing eating habits. This is our next kitchen, the 1880s kitchen, and you can see things are becoming a little more modern now. We actually have an ice box, a cast iron stove, and so you can start to see the technology changing based on immigrants coming and new technologies like the advent of the railroad. The 20s kitchen, things are looking a little more like what we know today, with a gas stove, a little bit bigger of an ice box. We even have a little toaster, a little electric toaster on the table there. And you also start to see the different kinds of food, and also more packaged food, like graham crackers up there, or different types of bottled drinks or milk, the milkman bringing the milk now. And we move over into more modern things. We're starting to get into community activities here, potlucks, weddings, family gatherings. It seems like we have a lot of events that are centered around food in our lives. And people can actually leave a favorite memory that has to deal with food on our memory board over here. Maybe it's a tradition that happened during a holiday, or a traditional recipe that you have in your family. And even kids are leaving their memories as well. So it really has an impact on people, this exhibit. We move over into World War II, which is another kind of pinnacle point in the changing habits that we ate. The Depression era and World War II really had an impact on how we ate today. Rationing really changed how people made choices on what they eat, and also changed family recipes. From generations ago, you had to substitute or change this based on what you had available. And so I think this is the era of history that really had the biggest impact on the way we ate today. And we end up finally with my personal favorite kitchen, the 70s kitchen, which always reminds me of any one of my grandmas, because they still have probably the same equipment in their kitchen today. And I mean, this is the modern kitchen. Electric stove, dishwasher, refrigerator, freezer, fondue pot, mixer, crock pot, all the modern conveniences that you could want in a kitchen that we know today. And then over here, this kind of chronicles the advent of fast food and restaurants, how they became really, really big. After World War II, with women entering the workforce more, families went out more to eat. It was more convenient than when mom gets home, 4 or 5 o'clock, having to whip up something. Just grab the kids and go to eat someplace. And so this was a really big change in the way that we ate, people eating out more. Even though it might have been a little more expensive, it was more convenient to do so. And then it talks about the different businesses here in town, like grocery stores, kind of how we go back to our roots, where the big locavore movement has been kind of rising again, where people are looking for more local foods. And also the variety of foods that we have now, the different ethnicities that have their own restaurants and stores here in our community, that people have more to choose from. And if I had one last thing to say about this exhibit, I think that anybody would enjoy this exhibit. We've seen a lot of people come through it, even in the short amount of time that it's been open. But it's really an exhibit that speaks to us all, because we all eat, we all drink, we all have memories about food in some way, whether it's, our favorite holiday meal, or maybe our favorite candy that we remember eating when we were a kid. There's something in our lives that touches on food, and everyone can relate to this exhibit. There's something in this exhibit for everybody.